What is good, ladies and gentlemen? So you're probably noticing a lot of me in this format in the last few days on camera, which is not normal, but this is all because of the DLC information and stuff, and we'll go back to normal after the DLC has kind of run its course. So you're gonna have to get used to seeing my face for a while and not my animated character. But ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about two different rumors, right? We're talking about a brand new rumor about the Pokemon Presents, which is happening literally in about, give or take, 10 or so hours from now, right? From when I'm recording this, it's happening about 10 or so, maybe less than 10 hours basically, is when the actual thing is happening. And what I'm doing here is recording a video on a rumor that's brand new that just popped up for the Pokemon Presents, saying what there's going to be in it, apparently. I mean, we don't know if it's true or not, right? Which is why it's a rumor. And then we have an old rumor, which has sort of been confirmed ever since we got the trailer back in July for Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. So that's basically what we're going to take a look at, right? So let's get started with the brand new rumor first, which is here on the screen right now, I think. So this was posted by Steelix, or Steelix shared it on Twitter, and he's basically, the post is called 11-minute presentation dump, and thank you to John for sharing this with me, by the way, on Twitter. So here's what it basically says. We're going to read through it slowly here. So first of all, presentation starts with a launch trailer of the Isle of Armor. Okay, so that makes sense, right? Like that's logical, right? That's what we will start with, of the Isle of Armor, before concluding with new footage from the Crown Tundra. Nothing new in either trailers. What you see is what you will get. That is pretty standard, pretty forward. We'll then see a trailer for two further DLC packs, and this is where it gets interesting. Valley of Champions and Remennts of Sinnoh. So I'm wondering what that means. I'm really wondering what that's going to mean, right? If this is true, if this holds. Again, this is a rumor. Please beware, okay? A big warning on the screen right now. Just a beware to all the people watching this video. This is just a rumor. So none of this is confirmed. We don't know if it's actually real. Like, we don't know if this is legitimate. So please keep that in mind, because this could all be just BS, right? Total BS. But that is strange. The Valley of Champions and Remennts of Sinnoh. Let's continue. The Valley of Champions, in this DLC pack, you will travel south of Galar to an isolated region encompassed by trainers old and new vying for the top champion. This can be seen in the anime. So I guess this is like what we're talking about in terms of what we see from Ash and Go, as Ash is trying to, I guess, become the, like the de facto best person fucking trainer, whatever you want to call him, in the Galar region. So that's what we're starting off with here. Now, this region will boast several new regional forms. I just realized I swore, I'm sorry. Either way, new regional forms. I can only remember seeing Starmie, which looks like a silver piece of armor, and an additional 100 Pokemon will be re-released. Ooh, okay, well, that's logical. They're going to complete the Pokedex, right? The goal here is simple. You face the champions in a Battle Frontier-esque format, and you have to beat them all. This will be released June next year. This game has largely already been completed. Okay, that's fair enough. So that part of the game, he's saying, calling it a game, but it's a DLC. The two previous DLCs were completed before Sword and Shield were released. Don't let the initial reveal fool you. Which, that's been my assumption since day one, and still is my assumption, that they were probably working on this and having it done way before the release of Sword and Shield even. But yeah, so that's that. So they were only presenting it in that way to avoid further outrage, which, yeah, from a business decision, that makes sense, right? Like, logically speaking, that's what you would do to avoid more backlash. Now, the Remennts of Sinnoh is actually a teaser. This is the only DLC that is still being worked on. In the trailer, you will see Dialga and Palkia, making you believe the remake is coming, but the trailer will end after this brief CG trailer. We will then be introduced to the fourth and final DLC titled The Remnants of Sinnoh. They won't speak much about it, barring the final ensemble of Pokemon being released in it, but this DLC is meant to create anticipation for the Sinnoh remakes, which will release next year fall. See, listen, this sounds cool, okay? This sounds like this Remnants of Sinnoh. This sounds fucking, like, this sounds cool, okay? Sorry for swearing. It's really early in the morning. My brain is, like, hasn't adjusted to, like, normal human speaking. But my point is, this actually sounds really awesome. Like, in a genuine way, this sounds, hands down, amazing. But there is one massive problem. how will we know that there's going to be a Sinnoh remake if they reveal this? How will we know there's a Sinnoh remake coming? Wouldn't most people then assume that the Remnants of Sinnoh is the substitute for a remake? Like, I'm a bit confused about how that's gonna work out. And also, Remnants of Sinnoh, what would that be? Like, is it just literally like a part of Sinnoh just inserted into a DLC? Like, hey, yo, here you go, this is it, you know? Like, what would it actually be like? That's my kind of question, right? What will it actually be like and look like? So, who knows, but they say basically that. Then they say the rest of the presentation will reveal re-releases rather of Generation 1 to 3 on the eShop, which would be fantastic if I'm honest, as well as a trailer for Detective Pikachu 2. Well, we are expecting Detective Pikachu 2, but also he doesn't mention anything about Pokemon Sleep, so making me trust this rumor far less when I don't see Pokemon Sleep included. Enjoy and feel free to screenshot this because this is right, is what he says. So that's how he finishes it off. Now, again, before we continue to the next rumor, I just want to say, this rumor in itself, a lot of points here are pretty logical, right, in the way he explains it. And again, there are logical things to this, but at the same time, the Remnants of Sinnoh, like, that's a good way to hype people up, but also, won't that confuse people? Like, won't that be super confusing if you show that in the trailer? Like, hey, yo, Remnants of Sinnoh, whoa, you know, like Diamond and Pearl, and then out of nowhere, you know, you show Dialga Palkia. My instant reaction when I see that would probably be, holy moly, we're going to get Diamond and Pearl remakes announced, right? And then if you're just telling us, like, oh, it's a DLC, most people would just probably get a bit pissed off. You know, wondering what the hell the deal is, right? But you know, if you announce the Diamond and Pearl remakes right after that, that would make more sense. So I don't know, I'm a bit confused about how that even would work out, because it seems like comes too much risk with that sort of announcing, right? It's just too much riskiness with all of it. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? So that's the first rumor, right? And this is the brand newest one. Next is a rumor that's a pretty old one, but that seems to be actually possibly real. So let's take a look at that rumor, shall we? Because it is pretty interesting. So it's on the screen right now. Now, this was posted on the 4th, so this was January, February, March, April. So about April, right? The 22nd of April, this is when this was posted. And what basically it is here's what it says basically. Pokemon DLC Part 1, the Isle of Armor. And then it just says leak. New Galarian Shroomish form. It gets a new evolution that is an ugly garden gnome. There's also is a Galarian form Slowbro, and it has a more purplish shell, but it's stuck on its arm that makes him look like he has a drill arm with a lot of barbs on it. It will be psychic poison. I haven't seen more of that. Now, like, what's interesting here is, why would we even mention this rumor, right? This is an old rumor. This is really old. But look at this, right? There's also is in a Galarian form Slowbro, and it has more purplish shell, but it's stuck on its arm. That makes him look like he has a drill arm and a lot of barbs on it. Now, interestingly, that's kind of true of what we actually ended up getting, right? If you look at the actual, Slowbro here, very similar to that, very similar. Now, is it exactly like he describes it? Sort of. Is the typing correct? Yeah, it is. So, I mean, is this possibly a real leak? Is this possibly turned into a real leak? And he does include an image from Pokemon, like with an image of like a Galarian Shroomish in it. Now, I don't really want to show this image because of risks of copyright and Nintendo getting pissed off, so I'm gonna avoid actually looking at that, like, I'm gonna avoid looking at that image, okay? Like, I'm gonna avoid looking at that specifically. Because it's just like, I don't know, I don't want to risk anything. You never know with Nintendo. This could be real, and then I might get into trouble. So I'm gonna avoid showing that image on screen. But it basically looks like a proper image of a Shroomish. But this can again be photoshopped and inserted, or like could be photoshopped or a custom 3D model just shoved into Sword and Shield. Like, that is possible. People have done crazier stuff before, so nothing is impossible. Which is why it's kind of hard for me to look at this and believe it 100%. Which is why I'm a bit like confused about this whole subject. Like, what do you guys think about this whole thing? Because it's all strange. That's what I'm gonna say. But that's basically the rumors, though. We've pretty much gone through the rumors themselves and broken them down now. So I want to ask you guys, when it comes down to these rumors, like pretty much all of them combined, right? Or at least the first one. What do you guys feel about the first one? Because I'm gonna be honest, the first rumor about the presentation, it gets me like, if it's true, if it actually ends up being real, that's gonna worry me a little bit, because I'm wondering how people are gonna react, right? And like, less about me like feeling how I feel about it. I'm excited for it, like, hey, 2 more DLC, and on top of that also Diamond and Pearl remix pretty much being confirmed for the future for probably 2021. Like, that's enough to get me excited and me to be like, hey, you know what, I'm ready for this. Like, I'm ready to for Nintendo to take more of my money and for me to get more Pokemon in return, right? So I'm on board for it, but how will people react to it not being a simple, you know, hey, getting Diamond Pearl remakes, instead it's like, hey, getting 2 more DLC, and we're hinting something, you know, like, how will people take that? That's what I'm more or less wondering about. But that's the end of the video though, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.